video, you're going to see the underside of this desktop wrapped using 3M Dyno film. It's red leather. And in part of this series, you're going to see the main area wrapped really well. But what I want to emphasize in this video is how quickly you can go wrong with Dyno if you don't know the right steps, or if you treat this like regular wrap film. So here, I'm going to cut it to shape. Backing paper is facing up. I'm going to trim off this little piece right there, so it just fits in like a puzzle piece. Make the standard cuts that are needed for Dyno film, that little zipper hinge in the middle, flip it over. But the problem with Dyno film is if you line the panel up, let's say on the underside, and you cut it out with a liner facing up, it's going to make the opposite shape than you want. So therefore, you have a negative space on the upper right-hand corner. But because Dyno is expensive, a lot of installers will be like, you know what, I'm going to try to save the day. And in this case, what you can think of is, you know, I'm going to make a double cut butt joint here. Take this little triangle piece that I have from the other side, now that I'm cutting on the right side, and I'll use that for later. So now I make an extra cut on the liner on this side. I'm going to flip it over. What you see here is just standard Dyno procedure. Place it right in the right spot, remove the liner over the zipper section. Then, once that's locked in, squeegee the material left and right just to get on the main surface area. Go with a tack cloth to remove any little specks of dirt that might have crept in during this process. Then, keep that liner on, 10-degree angle off the surface, squeegee with overlapping strokes, nice firm pressure. Then, once the material is on the main surface, tuck it into that ridge, cut it off. You're simply cutting through the Dyno material, not through the liner. Once the Dyno excess material is moved, then remove the liner so it tucks in just like a puzzle piece. So very cool, almost back to normal right now. Now thinking, okay, we're going to save the day, but really quickly, just as much as I skipped a step when cutting off the excess material at the beginning of the video, here what I'm not doing is removing the excess liner over the top piece so it fits onto the bottom piece. And that's what you normally do with an overlap on a double cut butt joint. So liner is on both the top and bottom. And you're going to see why this is a major problem. So I just removed the liner. This is going to tuck in now, but it's sticking on the piece, so it's actually not butt joining anymore because I didn't remove the liner on the underside as well. So now we've got a second piece here. And you can see simply by skipping a step, the liner is really fighting to come out, and it's fighting so much that it's actually leaving little bits of backing paper underneath, so it didn't come out very cleanly. So some sections of this are butt joining nice and clean, but because that liner is on both top and bottom, you can see at the top it comes up short, and then here you got that excess liner underneath. So you think, well, if this was normal wrap film, you just pick it back up, and you can take off any little specks, or in this case, the liner right there. But with Dyno film, because it's 8 mil thick, you're picking it up and you definitely stretch it, but you take the risk of maybe pulling off the coat on the underside of the table right now. So it's very risky, and you see lots of those specks there because you cut through both sides of the liner. So you think, okay, I might kiss it with heat. Relax it, maybe a little butt joint now, but now because you stretched it and then heat it and relax it, it doesn't butt joint anymore. So now you don't have that perfect butt joint. You think, you know what, I'm just going to cut off a section now and just pull off the Dyno and start again. And I can maybe use a scrap piece for something else because I don't want to redo this whole section. But as you can see here, by taking off Dyno, it pulls off the surface of what you're wrapping. This is a permanent adhesive. So this is definitely a major problem, and it's going to come off in little tiny pieces because of the aggressiveness, as well as the fact that it's a textured film. It's a leather surface, so certain points are thicker, certain points are thinner. So this can be very frustrating. Maybe adding a little heat can help not damage the surface. So thinking, well, you know, I'm going to create a straight line across, and then I'll butt join a second piece on top. So take a straight edge, make a straight line with the straight edge there on the piece that's on the desktop. Then do the exact same thing on this extra piece here, and coming in and butt joining it by hand. But the problem is at this point, because you don't really understand the whole process of Dyno film, is that this particular film is directional. So in this case, putting on the opposite direction and getting a terrible look. So trying to save the day, but the surface that is coming on, that is wrapping on, is damaged, so then this has to be repaired. So you can see how quickly things can go wrong if you don't do the right steps in Dyno, and that's why it's really important to either take a workshop or watch all the videos in this series and just really be super patient, because here, even though it's butt jointed and you're going to make a standard cut, you're going to have a subpar product. In this case, it might be a full redo, and that could be very costly, both in terms of time and money. Hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Justin Pate.